Live from the CoSN 2026 conference. This is the K12 Tech Talk podcast. We're getting some looks. Man, it's early day one, Monday morning. We've already had, 5 or 6 really good conversations with folks that have stopped by to say hi.
Yes.
And some people don't know who we are and wondering what the heck we're doing.
That's fine.
Other people...
That's regular. That's every day for us.
Yeah, we get strange looks every day. But then there's other people that listen to us and know us. And,
always exciting.
Put a face with a name.
So it's just you and I here right now.
Well, we have Mark on a buffalo on a poster.
Yep. Mark doesn't know this, and Mark is coming tomorrow, but a throwback to, it's been years now.
A long time.
And I don't remember why it happened, but
he was in Yellowstone.
Okay.
And he sent that picture, and then a listener put him on a buffalo.
Yeah, a listener from Texas photoshopped
Was
Mark.
it Texas or Michigan?
I think it was Texas, because I met that guy at K12 Tech.
Okay.
Put Mark photoshopped on a buffalo, and then we printed out Mark on a buffalo, like the headshot.
Mm-hmm.
So we brought that with us because Mark's not here. So if you stop by our table, and we're doing our happy hour tonight. We have a happy hour going. We're pretty excited about it. NTP and Checkpoint sponsoring that. Mark is not going to be at the happy hour. We found out, so we brought Mark on a buffalo, the headshot. And we're going to take some pictures with Mark today. But yeah, already a great morning here at CoSN here in windy Chicago.
It was so windy yesterday.
Now, I had a Chicago-style hot dog yesterday.
You were critiquing. We went to dinner last night. You were telling me about your critiquing. And
yeah, my parents used to have a laundromat in Missouri and had a restaurant with it, and they sold Chicago-style hot dogs. And my dad had never consumed an original Chicago-style hot dog from Chicago, but he had met up with a company, whatever, long story short, in St. Louis, that they worked together with folks in Chicago. And all through high school, college, I sold Chicago-style hot dogs, not knowing if they actually tasted like Chicago-style hot dogs. But I'm here in Chicago. I had one, and my parents' place was spot on.
That's awesome. That's hilarious.
No idea. Anyway, we're happy to be here. The theme of this thing is building what's next together. So we're going to unpack with folks what is that next, what does that look like, and then the together part, where their community is at. What is next, Josh?
Well, we've had some conversations already this morning. Next, from a positive perspective, or maybe positive is the wrong word, screen time limits, AI, that's nothing new. But then on a negative or downtrodden perspective, budget issues.
Where'd the money go?
Yeah, where has the money gone? So I think those are definitely next things on radars already in conversation here this morning.
Yep. So hopefully today, tomorrow, we're going to hang out with several people. We're going to figure out the what is next, get a short list of those things. We know that CoSN is community. It's great here, so we're happy to be here. All right, Josh, we are hanging out with Earl Franks. Earl, how's it going?
Great. Thanks for asking.
We just drug you. You were walking. We drug you over here. We're sitting you down. And now we're just going to kind of figure out who you are.
So, Earl, tell us what organization you're with and why you're here at the CoSN 2026.
I'm Executive Director of the National Association of Elementary School Principals, acronym NAESP. We've been around for 104 years, providing services to our nation's pre-K through grade 8 school leaders. So principals, assistant principals, other folks involved in that pre-K-8 space. We provide services and support for them. And ultimately, our goal is if we help school leaders improve, then the students will benefit from our work. And so, we provide just a range of services and supports for those school leaders.
All right. I think you buried the lead here, too. You're retiring in June.
Yeah, actually July, the end of July. So our conference is in July. And so taking it through the conference and having a final board meeting, obviously leading up to our annual conference. And I've been with NAESP now for 9 years. It's my 40th in education. And
amazing.
I've had a career that is better than I ever deserved. From being a school teacher, I was a music teacher for 13 years. I was a pre-K-12 principal for 9 years. I was a state executive director for a school leader organization in Alabama for 9 years, and this is my 9th year at NAESP. So just a very rewarding career.
Great. So the theme this year with CoSN is building what's next together. What do you see as next for the relationship between administration and technology, or even just plain technology related? You know, we see these topics of screen time limits, walled garden type environments where it's students can only get to the websites where they're predefined or allowed to go to. What do you, from a principal perspective or your organization's perspective, what do you see as the next frontier or the next big topic coming?
I look in my crystal ball a lot to try to answer this question. Of course, as we've talked about, this is my 40th year in education, so I've seen a lot of what's next.
Sure. Is that crystal ball as clear as it used to be? Does it?
No, it's always been murky at best. Yeah, it's blurry. Because a lot of times we think we know what's next, and we end up cycling back. You know, it's like, I saw this 30 years ago.
Sure.
So we're always trying to predict what's next. Obviously, in many different areas, I mean, AI is not going away, so
right.
That will be a big impact. Certainly, the whole cell phone piece, we're now seeing everybody welcome cell phones and digital devices. But now we're seeing districts, states banning cell phones.
Yeah, our state's done that.
Yeah, and our members just had our federal relations coordinators, which there are state liaisons in terms of advocacy, met last week, and they've seen a lot of positive results from banning.
Absolutely.
Cell phones.
Yeah.
And we probably hadn't intended on going this direction, but just from fewer discipline problems,
yep.
More focused on their task in the classrooms. And so that's a big deal. But certainly implications for AI, for teachers, for school districts, what do you do? And then the whole digital access to devices. We've seen most districts have, a one-to-one.
Of some sort, some fashion or another.
But now
yeah.
we're seeing schools go back just like, we've had enough of this. We don't want these devices. Let's go back to old school teaching, pencil, paper, get rid of the digital devices. We're tired of these books. So a lot of that to try to figure out what's next. But then there's other things outside of technology that are impacting education, and we can go there if you like, but
Sure.
This is more of a tech podcast, so I'll pause there.
Well, we see it. We even have had conversations this morning with passersby, the budget implications, and some of those budget changes or constraints are going to drive less tech in districts and buildings because, if your budget's being cut by 5% from state funding, you've got to make that 5% up somehow, and it's going to be services or subscriptions that you aren't mission critical. You don't need them to open the doors every morning. So I think there's going to be a shift in that too. We may not be cycling devices as frequently, or stuff along those lines. So it's like you said, the crystal balls are definitely murky right now.
Yeah, and to your point, the financial implications. Every 5 to 10 years, there's this fiscal cliff.
Sure.
State legislatures are looking for funds. They're looking for ways to increase revenue, but then they may increase revenue for education, but they take something away.
Right.
So it's not adding on in
right.
many states around the country. But yeah, obviously, budget implications, that's a big deal, certainly for technology. And then, like, we advocate for fully funding IDEA, which is
sure.
funds for special needs. And, it's authorized up to 40%. Congress is now, about 15%? And so local school districts have to take those funds out of
somewhere else,
typically
GR or,
their local funds. So you got to make make it up some other way. So it all comes together under this fiscal piece. But if you get more money for IDA or more money for transportation, it frees up your local funds so you can do something else with it.
Right. Less restricted funds or unrestricted funds. Yep.
Absolutely.
Earl, well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We are at CoSN, and CoSN is all about community. So I know that you represent a community of principals and administrators. We appreciate all your years. 40 years is a long time. Not calling you old, but 40 years is a long time.
I'm old. That's
so
okay.
Appreciate that service.
I wear it as
that
a
you've done
badge of
there.
honor.
Love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, this is Jean-Claude Brizard, the CEO of Digital Promise Global. How's it going today, sir?
It's going well.
We're in Chicago. The weather's beautiful. Well, it was sunny out there a little bit ago. We're right here by these windows overlooking the river. It's awesome. So tell us your organization, who you are, what you're doing here at CoSN 2026.
Yeah, so first I've been a fan of CoSN for a very, very long time. I've known Keith for a long time. So I had this amazing organization called Digital Promise Global. We were created by an act of Congress back in 2008 under George W. Bush. We're part of the Higher Education Act of 2008, Section 802 to be more specific. Obama launched the organization with Arnie Duncan in 2011, so we are a very sort of nonpartisan or bipartisan organization. We left the U.S. government in 2019, so now we're a global nonprofit doing work in learning sciences research, technology innovation, and practice around the world. We work with about 300 districts in the U.S., 175 are called the League of Innovative School Districts, and we work with about 15, 20 nations around the world. Not actually ministers around the world, but we are in 80 countries around the world.
Wow. You mentioned when you sat down that you have a book. You guys have a book coming out. So tell us what that topic is like.
Yeah, so the book that created Digital Promise was called A Digital Gift to the Nation back in 2007, 2006. Was a collection of essays about the role of technology, the role of media in education. So the sequel was coming out in the fall from Harvard University Press is going to focus on a very similar set of conversations around technology and education. As you can imagine, AI will be prominently featured. The last chapter, I wrote several chapters. I'm the primary editor. The last chapter I wrote on quantum computing. Okay. That we think is the next, maybe not a fad, but it's here. And also has the potential to really disrupt a lot of what we do right now in education. It's funny you mentioned that. Our state consortium in Missouri, they've been doing sessions on quantum computing and how to translate that topic or how to bring that topic into the STEM classroom or regular classroom. So it's interesting you bring that up. I'm starting to see that trend in Missouri kind of pop up a little bit right now. So that's awesome. Usually in education, we tend to be laggards. Right. And I would love for us to be crew and not passengers in any kind of technology effort, AI or quantum computing. So having education leaders or CTOs and CIOs lead the charge in making sure what's designed is designed for education, not an afterthought, I think should be an amazing thing for us, frankly. Okay, you want to ask him the fortune-telling question?
So CoSN has this theme. It's building what's next together. We'll get to the together part later, but you've kind of mentioned two things, AI, quantum. Like, what is next for K-12?
Yeah. So, first of all, AI is going to be like the Intel Inside, right? It's going to be ubiquitous in everything that we actually do. In fact, a lot of it's already there. So how we pivot in terms of curriculum, instruction, and pedagogy and assessment, I think is one of the things coming next. So I'm seeing a lot of work in curriculum and pedagogical practices. I think the future of assessment or what needs to be done in assessment is going to come. The second, frankly, is the quantum computing piece. It's going to accelerate things to a place that we've not seen before. And what it means in terms of human intelligence, what it means in terms of how we engage young people in their education, how we create and build the kinds of tenacity and agency that they need to have to drive their own future is going to be paramount. We're already seeing disruptions in workforce and what that means, frankly, for the present, forget the future. Right. How we design education for that is going to be really critical. So we have to accelerate, frankly, how we think about this, which is why I often talk about this as being the age of human intelligence. How we elevate our pedagogical practices are the next sort of push, perhaps agitation, whether we like it or not, it's here. Right. And we have no choice, frankly, but to embrace it in a way that really puts our kids 20 years ahead of where they are right now. Interesting. So together, that part of that phrase, what would you recommend in a school environment to foster that together mindset
and bring people together and working towards a common goal?
So I was in China in November with 40 leaders from around the world looking at AI in education. What we saw blew us away. In fact, made me really worry about our country because it's been building for 10 years. What we saw in terms of togetherness, we were able to draw a line between a 6th grade language arts lesson to national AI policy, to a university in the center doing this. So we saw national, regional, university, system, classrooms, schools, teachers all in tandem working together around what this means. At Digital Promise, we're working on a concept to try and replicate some of that in the American context in 3 to 5 states, where, again, the state chief, the CTO, CIO at the state level, the CIO, CTO at the district level, the superintendent, principals, etc., in working through kind of a through line to create the kinds of coherence we need in that kind of technology implementation. If we don't do this well, again, our kids will be left behind. And what I'm seeing right now mushrooming in a bipartisan way is this kind of bending of technology, which is really worrisome because it is not the solution. Making sure that we are leveraging technology to inform pedagogical practice, I think, is what we need to do, and that requires the state chief to the teacher working in tandem, working together.
It's interesting because my district has done a really good job of that vertical alignment in our district. My wife's district, they really struggle with that vertical alignment. Even elementary schools, they have over 10 elementary schools. Elementary schools doing different things, different ways at different times. So it's interesting that topic. It varies so much.
But you have to start with what is good pedagogy,
right?
What is good instruction?
How you're delivering that, yep.
And the system building a coherent instructional system, and the technology comes as support in making that happen. So we also talk about this idea of redefining success, right? Meaning that reading, math proficiency are critical, but they are a means to an end. They're not the end means. So thinking about what we see now in the portrait of a learner, portrait of a graduate, being perhaps the centerpiece of the work and building toward that is critically important. Last thing I'll say is I saw a study recently done by the World Bank in Nigeria in a low-resource environment using low-level LLMs, and they were able to, with tutoring, again, tutoring done against a coherent instructional system, not just by itself, to see 1.6 to 2 years of gain in math and literacy in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So the potential 6 weeks, the potential is there, but it's not tutoring by itself. It's not hiring Saul Khan from Conmingo, drop shipping in the school. It's Conmingo done against a really good instructional program with good pedagogical practice. Then you're going to see the kinds of gains we're looking for.
Interesting.
If I'm listening and I've never heard of Digital Promise Global before, and the stuff that we just talked about is a lot to unpack quickly in our few minutes together, where can I go to learn more?
Yeah, website is the best place to start. Again, we are redesigning our website, but digitalpromise.org. Go in there, and there are many, many ways of engaging with the organization. Again, we serve nearly 300 districts around the U.S. We're a nonprofit. We don't sell to school systems. We work in tandem. Our superintendents and our principals work with our researchers to be on the forefront. A lot of what you see in education technology, we have our fingerprints on it. You may not know us. If you're talking about AI literacy, we wrote the initial document. If you saw Biden's executive order on AI, we were the ones who crafted that for the president. So we are kind of inside building for systems, but come to our website. Awesome. There's a way to see our monthly pieces every single month.
Great. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I am here with Michelle and Jason of CTL. Did you guys get in today or yesterday, or when did you get here?
Came in late last night. We're coming from the West Coast, so had to get here a little early.
Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the weather. I think it's supposed to get cold and rainy. It was windy yesterday, but it's been a great day today, and it was a great day yesterday. I came in yesterday, so we'll see how it all plays out as it goes, because this is the Windy City of Chicago here at the CoSN 2026 conference. So let's talk about CTL. Give me a high level. Who is CTL? What do you guys do?
All right. We are primarily known as a Chromebook manufacturer, but we have been on a journey over the past several years to become more of a technology lifecycle provider for our customers. So beyond the device, we've been building out the complete set of services to really help them through all of the stages of technology, from procurement and deployment through maintenance and repair, and we have some new things on that front to talk about today. And then all the way through taking end-of-life Chromebooks back and refurbishing and reselling what we can to give everything a second life that fits with our sustainability mission. We're one of the only B Corporation certified Chromebook manufacturers. I think we are the only one in the world. So we are very dedicated to that.
That's great. And you guys came to our K12 TechPro Next conference. And I know there were several school districts that talked about they didn't know yet that CTL will do that buyback program.
Yes.
And that was kind of one of the high points that I know techs were talking about learning from that session was how that works. Can you unpack that just a little bit more?
Sure. I think Jason's going to do that for us.
Yeah, sure. I mean, the best benefit we can give to those IT directors is to give them more value for their aging technology assets. So our first step in that conversation is, what can we take back with your aging technology? How can we give you value for that aging technology, whether it's credit or cash? And then they can apply that to their budgets.
Great.
To keep that refresh cycle going. And then in turn, on the backside, we can responsibly recycle and refurbish those devices and bring them back to market with tight budgets. That's more important than ever for a lot of IT directors.
Yeah, we're going to get into this question. So the CoSN theme is building what's next together. And so far with the folks that we've talked to, for the bad, the what's next might be some budget woes and some funding issues. So school districts need to pay attention to that's coming. So having a plan for devices is going to, we do need a plan for devices.
Yeah, and with the Google AUE dates being quite far out so for some of those aging devices, just giving them a refresh and bringing them back, kids still get the same great learning experience no matter how old the device is. So.
All right, so let's talk about that theme, building what's next, and then there's a comma, together. We can unpack the together here at the end, but what is next for CTL?
All right, well, we are very excited because we are announcing a new device. This is the first time we've talked about it, so Here you go. World reveal.
I love it.
It's called a PX112C series, and it is the next generation of our LTE-enabled Chromebook.
Okay.
It will process 5G, right, and 4G LTE as well, so it's backwards compatible. And CBRS, private wireless networks, for those schools that maybe have set up their own private wireless network in their district. We did that with Murray City in Utah, for example.
Amazing.
And so this is an all-in-one device that the students don't need a hotspot. They don't need any additional hardware. They just open and they're connected into their school network. And we have a charter school, a large charter school we just did in Oregon, for example, where we shipped, they wanted everyone to have their own connectivity, so we shipped 4,100 devices to 41 homes. And then this morning, actually, we heard about a really interesting use case where it was an outdoor school, right, Jason?
Yeah, it's allowing kids that are literally not near a physical facility where they could get Wi-Fi because they're in an outdoor school, but they can still use their technology no matter where they are.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a great example.
So we're excited to be offering that, and we'll have stock at the end of the month.
I was going to say, when is the thing happening? End of the month.
Yep.
And we'll probably post, Michelle, I'll hit you up after. We can post some information about that on K12 Tech Pro to get out to members. Anything else that you think a school district should be paying attention to in the future, the near future?
Yeah, the other additional thing we're bringing to market is free asset management software. So when you purchase CTL devices, they'll all come pre-enrolled on that software, and it'll allow IT directors to not only track their fleet, but also track the repair cycle. Okay. So if they send them back to us to get fixed, they'll always know exactly where they are in that process and how close they are to coming back.
Nice.
So it's just a free software ad that we think will be very valuable.
Awesome.
Right. Especially the pre-enrollment part.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this word together. I think, Michelle, in particular, you and I, we have seen each other at these conferences for a couple years now. I know CoSN is all about community. Can you guys touch on why you're a part of CoSN? Why are you here today with that together word?
Sure. We upped our sponsorship this year, and we're going to be on one of the thought leadership committees on sustainability. Because, as I said, we're a B corporation, and so we're going to work throughout the year to advance the sustainability message through CoSN. So we'll be working on that with them together.
Great.
And in addition to that, like I said, we really like to work with our customers. So we have also recently launched it's called Chromebook Care Curriculum, where we will help a school stand up a student repair tech team. It's 12 modules of learning aimed at grades 8 to 12. They get certification stickers that say things like the Chromebook Whisperer or whatever. They're cute. T-shirts and things to help save IT, their time and resources, right? And then at the end of the day, the students have a repair portfolio of work that they've done that they can take and get a job, right, at a tech repair place.
It's a great augmentation for their career and technology programs.
Yeah. So we really view that as working together with our school district customers.
Yes, for sure.
So,
for sure.
Yeah.
All right, anything else for the good of the cause?
No, I just think together, when companies and schools are working together, we do better things for kids. So I'm happy to be at this event.
Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much.
Right, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Okay, I'm hanging out with Dr. Kari Murphy. Dr. Murphy, how's it going?
It's great. We're having a wonderful afternoon in Chicago, and the weather keeps improving every day. So it's a great time to be in Chicago and a great time to be with CoSN.
Yes. So we just met.
Yeah.
And we just talked very briefly, and I think you named off 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 things that you do.
Uh-huh.
So let's unpack those things together. So I guess in whatever order you want, tell me some different things that you do.
Okay. So my paying job, how about that, is I am the Chief Technology Officer for Deer Park Independent School District.
Okay.
Deer Park is along the Houston Ship Channel, and we have about 12,000 students.
Okay, awesome. How long have you been at that school district?
I have been there 27 years.
Okay, and then what's a bigger question of that is how long have you been in K12 and K12 Tech?
I have been in K12 for 47 years.
Awesome.
I took a 2-year break and went into actually industry and technology. But as far as in K12 Tech, I would say I've been probably about 33 years.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you for all of your service of that.
Thank you.
We were talking to someone earlier, Earl Franks. He's retiring, and I think he said the number 40 years in. That does not make you old or him old, but those are many years of service. So you tend to see a lot of the trends and the things that, stuck beyond trends. And he talked about how you see things repeat themselves over time. So
Yes.
I would assume that you've seen some of that.
Yes. But I've also been able to grow up with it.
Yep.
I am retiring at the end of August.
Congratulations.
I'm retiring from Deer Park.
Yep.
Does not mean I'm retiring. But over that time, I was able to grow up. I remember putting in the first internet server in one district, not the one I'm in now, and just grow with it.
Yeah.
I kind of feel sorry for the new people coming into these responsibilities because they have to drink from a fire hose.
Yep.
But it's been great to see, okay, we see this change. Now we're going one-to-one. COVID happened. Everybody's pulling back and concerned about screen time. And I think we're going to see some evolution that will come back once we have some balances. So, yes, it can be cyclic, but it also seems to just exponentiate.
Yes.
What we do, how we learn, all of those different items.
Okay, so you're at a school district.
Yes.
What else do you do?
Okay, so I also serve directing, kind of coordinating the Texas group for the CoSN CTO Early Academy.
Okay.
And we have about 10 people that are in it. We also have thought leaders for that. And that's working also through TETL, which is the Texas Educational Technology Leadership Group.
Okay.
So I do some work with that. I do presentations across the nation. I teach the master class for the CCRE, which is the cybersecurity rubric evaluator that you can become. I do some outside work with AI and intentional and missional AI. AI Hackathon is a big thing every October in the group of missional AI. It's building AI for human flourishing and for intentional Christianity mission along that way.
Awesome. Let's circle back to the CCRE. So if I'm a K12 Tech and I'm listening to this, What is that, and how can I get plugged into that?
Oh, it's a wonderful instrument, actually. So if you become a CCRE, you are a certified cybersecurity rubric evaluator. You can actually go into other districts and assist them.
Okay.
In K-12, we can't always afford a cybersecurity person that is a CISO because we may be too small or the funds aren't there. Or we can't afford to bring somebody in outside. What this allows you to do, first, when you learn about how to utilize this instrument, which is the only educational tool that aligns with NIST standards, and they actually recognize this rubric. Great work by Frankie Jackson, Cheryl Abshire, some different people part of CoSN have developed this tool. You can take it to your district. You can assess your cybersecurity standing. But then when you're certified, you can also go to another district. Let's say that you do it in your district, but you want an outside, unbiased opinion.
Yeah.
So, and I need an outside person, unbiased. Then we can swap it. I'll do it for your school district if you do it for me. And then I interview your people and ask and see where they really are. Where do they need? It's not a gotcha thing, but to look at how can I improve my cybersecurity standard. And once you have this, you've done those evaluations, it really assists you in getting what's called the TLE, Trusted Learning Environment, seal that CoSN gives, but it also helps decrease the cost of your cybersecurity insurance when they've seen you've been proactive.
Awesome. And if I'm a tech and I want to figure out how I get started with that, where would you point me towards?
I would point you to going to ClassLink, actually has a link. Also, CoSN has a link. Contact me, contact Cheryl Abshire, Diane Dorsch, Pete Just.
Okay. Awesome. So the theme of CoSN for this conference is building what's next together. You kind of told me some building what's next things, I think. So let's touch on the together. What makes CoSN special? What makes CoSN stick out?
Oh, it is different. Sometimes I have trouble describing it to others and encouraging them to come. It is like the echelon. It's like, it's about policy, and it's about leadership, and it's about organization, and it's working together. I've been to a lot of ed tech conferences, and they talk about tools, and they talk about methods, and they talk about a little bit about leadership, and they talk about the infrastructure. But here, it all comes together, and how we work together to move our country, how we move our legislators, how we look at things systematically. I like the systems. I'm a systems person, and I love systems. And here you learn about systems, and you can collaborate with people across the nation. And I've gained more insight and depth. I've grown in the depth of my knowledge through CoSN.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes.
You're welcome.
Some shout-outs to our sponsors that make our travels like this possible. We're having a great time at CoSN 2026 here in Chicago, Illinois. And again, sponsors, our listeners, you guys are the reason that we get to do these things, but our sponsors help fund these trips. So if you are looking for a firewall, we would highly encourage you to check out Fortinet. You can email FortinetPodcast@Fortinet.com. I use a FortiGate in my school district, have had great luck and great success with it so far. Email FortinetPodcast@Fortinet.com. Another sponsor, a great sponsor, and they are here at CoSN, is PowerGistics. And for this month, and this month only, for April, on K12 TechPro, we have Hayden's Hot Deal of the Month. And it's some special discounted charging stations, charging carts with PowerGistics. So check out PowerGistics, but check out Hayden's Hot Deal on K12 TechPro with that. Just saw David with Managed Methods here at CoSN with Managed Methods. If you have Google in your school, if you have Microsoft in your school, and you want a good look at all the user activity, you want to keep your kids safe, and we know that you do, check out Managed Methods at managedmethods.com. And finally, here in a little bit on this episode, we're going to do an interview with VIZOR. That's VIZOR. You can check out VIZOR at VIZOR.cloud/K12 Tech Talk. Again, here at CoSN 2026.
So we have a special guest, I guess. This wasn't orchestrated or organized.
Wait, I got a thing. Oh, that's
no,
not
that's...
it. There we go.
Amanda Lanachek from LinkedIn. I don't know if you're on LinkedIn and you see her posts. They're quite entertaining. I don't really remember how I found your post, but I followed you early on, and your content makes me chuckle because
I love that.
It is I guess a brutally honest look or instructions to salespeople on how to communicate with K-12 directors and when to do it, when not to do it, and those methods of like showing up with cookies unannounced, how that's perceived. So
Yes.
give us a little bit of a story of how this started.
So it all started because I'm inundated with salespeople every day. So I'm a K-12 CTO, and we're outside of Dallas-Fort Worth. So, people have to travel to get there, and they show up unannounced with their crumble cookies, and I'm like, I don't want diabetes, and you're not on my calendar. And so that's how it all started, was I just was sharing my opinion, and it has just evolved into, sales advice.
Yeah.
So I've done, it's evolved into consulting and all kinds of things, and I really enjoy it. You don't often get the chance to tell someone they're doing something wrong and
Right.
then help them do it right.
Right.
But I even have a company that we broke up with as a district, and they were like, we want you to come to our offsite and talk to our whole sales team. And I was like, so I'm like the ex-girlfriend that got invited to the wedding, right?
Wow.
Yeah. But it was
Wow.
so fun, and it made me respect that company so much more because they wanted to hear, why did we break up with them? Why did
Right.
we go with another partner? What was it that made us seek out the other partner? And we didn't. I just met the partner at a conference, and a relationship was built, and I didn't have anyone. They had changed my salesperson, and so relationships are really at the forefront of sales, and often that's forgotten and just passed off as, here's some cookies, or here's this mailer I'm going to mail you and expect you to look at, or I'm going to call you 65 times a day and expect you to pick up so I can meet my quota.
Right. So what's the feedback been like on LinkedIn from sales? Do you get any salespeople coming at you with things?
I've
or
only had one person that was not in K-12 sales that came at me pretty brutally, and it was very interesting. Who's this person that has no sales experience giving sales advice? And I don't know if you follow Del Dupree, but he's a very big, sales guy on LinkedIn. He does some type of technology sales, but not in the K-12 space at all. And he came to my defense, and I'm like, how do you even know who I am? But it was well received because people came to my defense and were like, why would you not want to hear from the end user?
Right.
Sure.
Interesting.
One time, there was this lady, this sales rep. She would always come up unannounced, and I would never meet with her. So she would sit upstairs for a while.
And she would never leave. She
Yes.
she was known in our area for doing
Oh
this.
my goodness.
So we had a thing with that main office secretary. She would call me, and my name was Chris, and she would say, "Is Chris available?" And then that's how I would know that it was this particular lady. And
That's awesome.
And then I would discern all on my own if I was going to speak with that lady or not. And I would just be like, "No, he is not." And then she would leave after a while.
Yeah.
She would
she
stick
would
around
hang.
for
She would
some
hang
time.
for a while. Bizarre.
That's just crazy.
Yeah.
But I get it. That's how they feed their families,
Sure.
and they want to get the intro or they want to get the sell. I get it. But there's also a way to reach people that they're going to respond to you, and it's not sitting in your lobby
Yes.
or dropping by unannounced. And to me, I don't think that people understand, in a CTO's role or any job in education, it's complete chaos every day. You don't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis. So showing by unannounced means you don't respect my job
Right.
or know what I'm doing, and you think that I'm just sitting in my office all day ready to take meetings, you
right.
know?
For hours at a time.
Yes.
And-
Just 15 minutes, right?
Right, yeah,
Like,
just 15
no.
minutes. Right, yeah. Let's go to lunch too. And
Yeah.
So you made a post the other day about the MythOS story breaking out of the sandbox and wearing, and at the same time we were recording the episode last week, and I kind of let loose similar content to what you said about look, I can't keep my teachers from clicking every link in an email they get, let alone worrying about this Myth OS that's going to attack my firewall in a way that
Absolutely.
I don't even understand. So
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It is terrifying. And I think that them announcing it is like, why would you announce, like, we have this thing, but it's a secret? Okay, so
Right.
the bad actors are going to pay
Right.
the people that are making crap at their jobs that have access to this, and it's going to get leaked.
Yep.
So it's just a matter of time. But, yeah, keeping up with the vulnerabilities and the attacks is you literally can't anymore, and especially in education. Not only do you have teachers, you have kids,
Right.
And they're going to click anything and everything, or they want to play this game that's on this
proxy side. Yep.
But it's legit. I play it at home. Like,
Right. Yeah, good.
no.
Keep it at home. Yeah, exactly. So if you have one bit of advice for the salesperson that's listening to this call, what would it be if trying to reach out to a K12 CTO or CIO?
Have empathy and build a relationship. I think handwriting is not dead. I always tell people, like, send a handwritten card. Someone is going to pick up something if their name is addressed in handwriting more than they're going to, like, something that is computer generated or a flyer or something. And since I've told people this and posted on LinkedIn, I get lots of handwritten cards, but I love it. I'm like, because it's like someone took the time to sit down. They didn't have AI just produce this thing for them, and maybe they didn't, and they wrote it with their own hand.
Right.
But they took the time, and I see value in that. And I
Yeah.
think that other people on the end user end would see value as well.
And calling on the first day back from spring break or Christmas break or first day of school is the worst
that's
idea.
Suicidal.
Yeah.
I don't know why they think that that's okay.
One time I got this big box, and I was kind of excited, And I opened the box, and there was this little bitty ball. And then that was followed up by like 3 emails of a company that was like, "Did you receive that gift?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Yeah, I did."
I got your bouncy ball. Yes. Most recently, it's someone that doesn't even sell to me, but because of my LinkedIn presence, he is sending, and it's a Delta Pre thing, but these small, like, trash cans, and inside it is his pitch all crumbled up, and it's in the trash can.
Oh, that's
and
hilarious.
So he, like, hand delivers them, I guess, in his area, but when I got it, it was just so funny, like, that there's he's like, you're going to throw it in the trash anyways, so here's the trash can to put it in. And I was like, that's a good sales tactic.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, thanks for taking time, sitting down with us here at CoSN. We know there's tons of sessions going on, and you could be anywhere else.
What you call her, LinkedIn Amanda. All right, Josh, I saw this lady walking by, and I thought,
you need to quit grabbing people as they walk by. Like, it's going to be a complaint about us. We're not going to be asked back.
She was walking. I was like, that looks like Joan Wade, and it is. Joan, how's it going?
It's going great.
Joan, we just met, and I don't know you, and I don't know what organization you're with, really, but we're going to unpack that. That's the point of you being here. So tell me who you're with.
Great. I am so honored to be here, and thank you for inviting me to come on over and share some time with the two of you. I am the executive director of AESA, which is the Association of Educational Service Agencies. Our members are the CISAs, RISAs, BOCES, IUs, the regional organizations that serve oftentimes between the State Department of Ed and the local K-12 school districts. Different states call them different things. When I talk about their work nationally, I call them ESAs, or Educational Service Agencies. They vary in services. 2 things they have to do to be a member of AESA. They have to have a plethora of services that they serve districts. So a lot of them have technology support, which is why I'm here. A lot of them do special ed, grant writing, back office, like business office services. Whatever districts in their region need, they try to provide the solution for. And the second thing is they only represent a region of the state, so they don't represent the whole state, but they are mandated by state law to have a certain region of the state.
Gotcha.
The one tiny difference is Alaska. There's only one member in Alaska, and they're just, kind of a small state.
This is going to be a dumb question, and I'm going to sound really uneducated here. Do we have any in Missouri?
Missouri does have a member. It's Ed Plus.
Okay, as you're describing this, because we're Ed Plus members, I'm thinking, okay, this sounds like Ed Plus, but I've never heard Ed Plus called an ESA or that type of organization. So that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And I've been to Ed Plus in their offices.
Yeah,
they do phenomenal
they do
work.
great work. Yeah.
Same thing across the country.
Okay.
Similar type of organizations.
Okay.
So, Joan, you are in the special seat here because you got some kind of your organization got some kind of award. Would you unpack that for us?
Sure. It was an honor for us to be invited to CoSN this year. We received a partnership award from CoSN. We partnered with them about a year to 18 months ago on the AI maturity model. What they have found is they are able to deliver that maturity model and that information, that great professional development that they have, to medium and large school districts, but they were really missing the boat on rural schools and small schools. And that's a real sweet spot for our members. So we developed a relationship where our members are getting trained on the generative AI model, and then they're taking that to the school districts in their region. And again, the sweet spot is the rural schools, the small schools, because oftentimes our members are their tech department. Our members are oftentimes their curriculum department and things like that. But they're also working with medium-sized schools, and it isn't uncommon for our members to work in urban and suburban settings as well. But for this particular partnership, we really focus on those small rural districts.
Interesting. I think you might say AI is this answer, but the CoSN theme is building what's next together. What do you think is next?
So I'm really looking forward to more partnerships growing with CoSN. There's a lot on the horizon, what's next for schools. And I just finished an hour webinar listening about all the cell phone bans, screen time bans, how do you develop policies in schools, and how do we support them doing that. I think that's an issue that we need to pay particular attention to, especially with our members of Congress at the federal level and in state capitals as well. But, of course, AI. AI will continue to be the hot item in K-12 schools and the support that we give them. Cybersecurity. And so I'm not giving you just one. I just can't stop because they're all so important. But I really see our next partnership with CoSN being around cybersecurity and that support that we can provide to K-12 schools. Again, we don't have the expertise in that technology area, so we depend on partners like CoSN to help us design professional development for our members that they can take out and support the schools. So we have to have trusted partners, and we work a lot with CoSN.
Awesome. Well, Joan, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Well, thanks for having me, and have a great time here in Chicago.
You too.
All right, Chris keeps grabbing people to sit down. So we have Jim Rowan with us now. Jim, what organization are you with, and how come you're here at CoSN 2026?
Sure. I'm with ASBO International. That stands for the Association of School Business Officials. And basically, we are the business side of K-12 education. CFOs, business managers, facility directors, food service, transportation. I was invited here to be a guest speaker today on transforming education through AI and some of the culture and safety issues that AI brings. So really excited to be a part of the conference.
So CoSN's theme this year is, what is it, Chris?
Building what's next, together.
So I think you were probably invited here for what's next. What do you see on the horizon for school business officials in K-12?
Well, beyond the challenges with funding and all those types of things, 2026 has really been about AI for us. We have actually taken it on as a primary initiative where we've created an AI user group. We have about 300 plus members in that group. And our purpose is really just to understand how AI is being used in the education space. We're not the experts when it comes to how AI is used in the classroom. We're more concerned with, well, how can we use it with business practices or data analytics or safety and security? So really trying to understand what that looks like and then creating some toolkits and newsletters to put out on our website for our members to be able to share those best practices. and doing that together in a very collaborative way.
Okay. So districts around the country, there are state affiliates for your organization, correct? Like Missouri, it's MOASBO.
That is correct.
So you have affiliates in all 50 states?
Not all 50 states, but I would say somewhere between 35 and 40.
Okay.
Plus, we have the provincial affiliates in Canada. We have members on the international scene as well, Ghana, UK, Australia. So we are truly an international organization, although our primary focus is on U.S. policy and U.S. matters.
Okay. All right. Do you have any questions?
Well, there's this comma, and it says together.
Well, go ahead.
If I'm a K12 Tech, should I hang out with my maintenance folks and my food service folks?
You know, it's not a bad idea.
Chris is really, really, really good friend is the director of maintenance for his school. So
I am technology director, and just a couple feet away is the desk of the maintenance director. We can almost like just touch fingers if we reach our arms out full length. So we have a lot of banter about how we're in unison, and we can do the school dance together. We know what's going on.
I understand. I was recently at a leadership conference in New Orleans. As I was walking the streets, I noticed that there was a lot of technology. I understand it was basically AI scanning, just facial recognition and things like that. So when you think about how do you integrate facilities and business and finance and technology, we're all talking the same thing. How do we work together collaboratively to provide what's best for kids? Student safety, security, learning enhancements. It's going to take all of us working together to make that happen.
Yeah.
Way to get serious, Jim. I was just trying to crack jokes here at the end. All right, thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely.
All right, so we have a new person in the hot seat. We have Dr. Hawthorne with us.
Wait, here we go.
And there you go. That's
introduction.
That's Keith clapping in the background there.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Hawthorne, thank you for sitting down with us. Can you quickly introduce yourself and tell us who you're with?
Yeah, I'm Stacy Hawthorne. I'm the board chair for CoSN, and I am also the executive director of the EdTech Leaders Alliance, which is the Ohio CoSN chapter.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Cool.
So, pretty big deal.
In a small circle.
Well, I mean, for the people that matter, right?
Okay.
Like, yeah.
In the circle I care about.
Yeah. So we've been asking everybody that sits down with us. The theme this year with CoSN is what's next together. So in your realm as the board chair of CoSN and there in Ohio, what do you see as the next topic for K-12 or the next big thing coming for K-12?
Yeah, and so when we were actually developing this conference theme, it started out with some version of Future Ready or building the future together or whatever. And we really had a conversation because I get a little irritated personally when I hear people talking about future ready learning or building the future, because we literally have millions of kids in schools today, and we need to worry about what's next for them today and tomorrow, and not the future 5-10 years down the road. So when we talk about what's next, what I see really big on the horizon and CoSN's working with is I'm trying to educate our stakeholders in the education community about how purposeful technology can create powerful learning experiences, and it's not just about the blanket screen time bans and and conflating social media and recreational use of technology with educational technology. So that's something that I think is really big, and that's going to impact us for a really long time if we don't get ahead of that. And I see the work that we're doing at CoSN and across the U.S. is really purposeful with technology. And part of that piece that we really need to get ahead of with the what's next is the data privacy piece to protect students while they're online.
Yep.
And the filtering piece to make sure students have access to safe content for them. So I think that's the most immediate what's next. I could say AI. I could say VR,
everybody
AR,
says AI,
I
right?
could say quantum computing.
I'm so
Right.
over AI.
Let's find a different. So you're talking my jam between data privacy agreements and the rest of that. Like that's what we deal with, or that's what I deal with on almost a daily basis, from data privacy agreements to that meaningful use of technology. And we keep coming back to that. In Missouri, they're getting ready to pass or make it out of the Senate a screen time limit, and they were gonna start with, I think, what was it, 45 minutes a day.
Yep.
Now they've shifted to an idea of allowing the local school district to set those parameters for themselves. But I think to your point of that meaningful use, to me, when I walk by a room and I see a center or even a whole class just burning time on YouTube, wasting time, like that's what they're going after, or should be going after. They shouldn't be going after the intentional use, either via remediation or expanded learning with tools like IXL or something like that. That shouldn't be the target. The target should be that time suck or time waste of just burning blanket screen time.
Yeah, and there are 20 states right now that have some version of a screen time ban that are going through their state legislations. And the EdTech Leaders Alliance is working on a project, and I'm happy to share it with you guys. But we have what we call a balanced research tracker, and so it tracks research that is more balanced about screen time and saying, okay, here's where it's good, and here's how students can have access to accessibility, careers, workforce, like all kinds of things that they can't have with a paper and pencil. And then we also, on that same app that we built, have a legislation tracker, so anybody can go and see what legislation and where it is related to screen time.
Yeah, we saw a similar trend with cell phone bans. Like a couple states started it, and then it just exploded over the last couple of years. So we're going to see the same thing with this.
Yeah, and when we get into education, and particularly EdTech, I was a former tech director, and nobody told me to track legislation. Nobody told me to worry about that stuff. And we oftentimes get, particularly when funding gets tight, we get so focused in our local area or in our state that we don't watch what's happening in other states. And it's not that you have a state X, I don't want to name a particular state, but state X has the smartest legislators in the world, and they're going to come up with these things. No, state X is going to watch state Y, and somebody in state Y got some street cred, and they're getting more votes because they came up with this crazy thing. And so if you don't know what's happening in the areas around you, that's what's influencing you.
And I've watched, just with different organizations that I'm with, Ohio at a state legislature level, their data privacy rules and from what the state CISO and state CIO have done have really blazed a trail with privacy agreements and privacy laws. So that's what I have paid attention to, and I wish kind of Missouri would catch up to that.
Yeah, so EdTech Leaders Alliance, in addition to being the Ohio CoSN chapter, we're also an ISTE partner, CETA affiliate, and we run the Student Data Privacy Consortium for the state of Ohio. And last year, we signed the entire state of Colorado. So we do the data privacy agreements for both of those states. Before SB 29, which is the law that you're talking about, went into effect, we had about 35 to 40 districts across Ohio that were using the registry and working on data privacy services. After that law went into place, we now have 500 school districts that are members of our organization, and we work on their data privacy agreements. And at the end of the day, SB 29 does have a lot of really good things in it, and we're grateful for it. Not because we shouldn't need a law to do the right thing, but it does scare people because there are some consequences in it. But really, it's FERPA that requires those data privacy agreements. So whether you're in a state with a data privacy law or not, you still need to be doing them. But SB 29 scared people enough to start doing them. So.
Yep.
And the other thing I really like about SB 29 is it does require every single school district to post by August 1st each year a list of all the apps that are approved for use in the district, what grade levels they're approved for use of, what content areas they're approved for use of, and then also the data privacy agreement. And we need to be better communicators with our families.
Transparency.
That wouldn't have got us into the screen time thing if we were better communicators ahead of time. So here's what your kids are actually allowed to be doing in school.
Absolutely.
And here's where and when. So
Love
I think
it.
that's great.
Love it.
Okay, so this theme, there's this last word here, together, and we haven't touched on this yet, and you're the board president, so I think you're going to know the answer to this. If I'm a listener and I am not a CoSN member, why should I join CoSN?
Yeah, I can't imagine being a tech director and not being in CoSN. So we charge, our membership is based on district, and so you're not joining as an individual. When you join CoSN, you're joining, you pay one membership fee, and your entire district team has access to our resources. So that includes your teachers who can see our technology, our student data privacy resources. We have a new member brief on screen time. We also, our main topics are data privacy, cybersecurity, interoperability, AI, emerging technologies, and we do a lot of advocacy. And so I think regardless of your district size, there's a value for you. But even if you are a smaller district, I think there's more value for you. And I think it's like $350-ish to join. But you have entire reports that say, oh, I need to hire somebody. Here's the framework of essential skills. Like you can earn your CETO, which shows that you have the highest level of understanding of educational technology leadership. And then you have constant access to that network because regardless of what size your district is, if you're the CTO, the technology director, you're the only one of you in your district, and now you have access to thousands of them as a peer network.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Stacy, thank you so much for hanging out with us for a few minutes.
You guys are great. Have a good day.
Thank you.
You too. All right, Josh, we are here at CoSN 2026. No Mark yet.
Day 2, no Mark.
But he is supposedly coming. We think he's on a plane.
Yeah, I think he's close to landing. Maybe I need to track his plane.
And just to unpack this a little bit, so I came here by train. I'm going home by train. You came here by car.
Mm-hmm.
you're going home by train, but a different train.
Correct.
An earlier train than me.
Yes.
And then Mark is coming by plane, and he's going to come here today, and we may or may not see him actually.
Yeah, I don't know that I will see him because I don't know how long it takes to get from O'Hare over here. I think it's a good bit of a ride.
Yeah,
so.
the likelihood of you seeing Mark today is far less
I
than
know.
me seeing him.
I won't get my Mark hug. Yeah.
And I may only get a hug.
Yeah, you might just get a hug and leave.
We have, I guess, to unpack yesterday and today. I don't think we recorded to say this. So years ago, I'm going to try to set this up. Years ago, Mark went to Yellowstone.
Yes.
Took a vacation, and it was a really hyped-up vacation. And I have to find the episode, but at some point we talked about, I don't know why we talked about, well, besides Yellowstone, but Mark on a buffalo.
Right.
Which didn't actually happen.
Or it may have. He just wouldn't have told us.
Yes. So we came up that Mark rode on a buffalo, and then a listener from Texas, I remember it was Texas, photoshopped Mark on a buffalo
with the whole Western cowboy outfit,
yes.
too. Like, yeah. Hat.
To which, and this has been years ago now, to which I made one of those fat heads that you can get published. So it's just Mark. The buffalo's not there. So
no,
he's
it's
just
like
this,
shoulder up.
He's
yeah.
just in this awkward Western suit thing. And we did a bit with that years ago.
Yes.
Because that was before he had been to Missouri.
Yes.
So we went to the Mornet conference and had all our Missouri friends take pictures of Mark on a buffalo, whatever.
Yep.
So that's just been on a shelf somewhere.
In your garage.
But we knew that Mark wasn't going to be here, so we brought back Mark on a buffalo.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday we went to a nice restaurant, had our first ever K12 Tech Talk happy hour thanks to NTP and Checkpoint.
Meet and greet, yeah.
Had like 45 people show up.
Yeah.
Really good time, and Mark was there.
On the buffalo.
On the buffalo.
I will say, I called my wife. I was walking back. It was like a, 2-block walk, 3-block walk from the hotel. And I called my wife on the way home, and I said, hey, a listener to the podcast said that you changed her life. And my wife's like, what are you talking about? Were you sitting there for this conversation?
No, I wasn't.
So the delegation from North Dakota,
okay,
I chatted with them all night. Super cool people. The CTO or CIO from Minot School District in Minot, North Dakota. And I forget where the gentleman was from. It was he wasn't from Minot. He was from a different district. I can't remember the name of that district. But the director from Minot told me that whoever was talking about Calm on the podcast, the Calm gummies, your wife changed my life.
That was not what I thought. I thought you were going to plug something else.
I talked about Calm gummies on the podcast at the start of the school year, and she went out and bought some, and she's like, that is a complete game changer. That is a life changer. So I told my wife that last night, and she was basking in the glory of the power of the podcast last night.
Awesome. Well, we had a great time at the happy hour, and we've had a great time here at CoSN. Again, this is day 2.
Yeah.
So, Josh, I'm going to ask you what's the answer to this question.
Okay.
Building what's next together. What are you getting so far as the overarching vibe of what's next?
We've got the answer of AI, and that it's been a thing for God, how many years now? 3 years. AI has been whatever the theme is. AI has been the answer. But I think there's been some very deliberate conversation around screen time limits and what that looks like. Are they good? Are they bad? And the conversation we had with Dr. Hawthorne about intentional use of technology, and that needs to be the focus. And what changing the narrative of kids. I won't say it because she probably doesn't want what she said public. Changing the narrative of what's going around, that kids are just wasting time watching inappropriate things all day at school. We know that's not true. So we need to do a better job of shifting that narrative. I thought that was a good conversation. I think screen time limits are going to be the next big. Last year this time it was cell phone limits, banning them.
Yeah, I think what gets me still riled up about the screen time stuff and all that is I feel like the number is made up, like the 25 minutes or the 45 minutes.
Oh, sure.
Whatever,
It's grabbing it out of the air. Yeah.
And the whole, we're skipping over the, what is the use that is happening.
Right.
Again, I'm not all about a lot of those bills and those laws that are happening on its own, because I just think we should let teachers teach, and we have great school districts.
Yeah.
But a strong majority that are just doing the right things.
Right.
But it would be nice if those bills, if those laws had sentences in there about what that use is, as opposed to we're just
time.
Because in theory, our lawmakers are okay with whatever use is happening.
Well, good
for
point.
The 45 minutes.
Good point.
As opposed to digging into the details. So measuring how much we care about what our kids are doing. We know from CoSN that K12 Techs here are caring about what kids are doing with their 45 minutes or beyond.
Right.
But that's not in those bills and those laws.
That's a great point.
There. I think I mean AI is going to stick around for a while. I feel like the AI conversations is a little less. This year than
I would
previous.
agree, and I think it's shifting too. I think it's a conversation around meaningful use of AI and technology that we already have in schools. Budgeting, financial issues have come up in a number of conversations that we've had. So that's another topic that people are paying attention to. It's been we've had really, really good conversations with people in the hot seat this year.
Yep. Love it. By the way, North Dakota, shout out to listener Jeff and listener Alicia. Shout out Jeff and Alicia.
Hey, look who it is. It's Mark.
What's up, man?
Hi. I'm here.
All right, I got to go. See you.
Yeah, so Josh has been, he started packing his stuff. And then Mark walked up. Mark, we're glad that you're here.
Your Chicago storms made it hard for me to get into town
And it's
today.
blue sky.
So, yeah. So I'm here. I've had a few hours to sit on the tarmac and just ponder what life would be like hanging out with Josh and Chris.
What bad choices you made.
Well, we want you to know that we feel like we've been doing a very good job
Yes,
here.
we have.
I'm sure you have.
You have a high bar to keep up after I leave, Mark.
Excellent.
Yeah, Josh is always, well, let's be real. Yesterday, Josh left for a while.
I did.
And I interviewed like 4 people by myself.
I did. Because we had scheduled appointments, and the one at 1 o'clock didn't show. So I told Chris, I'm like, the weather's decent. I'd like to take an architecture boat tour. Do you mind? He's like, no, go ahead. So
What a nerd. We're here for work, Josh.
So I took an architectural boat tour, which was awesome. And 4 people sit down while I'm gone.
Insanity. I looked out the window, there's Josh. Anyway, CoSN 2026, Chicago. Josh, you're getting ready to check out.
I am.
Mark, you're checking in.
Got my bag right here.
It's like the wrestling tag team. You're in, Mark.
Let's go. Live from NTP Studios. Just kidding. We're at CoSN 2026. But we do have NTP here. David, how's it going?
It's going great.
David, this is Mark. Mark just got here a couple minutes ago.
Hi.
Hey, Mark. Yeah, we had a photo of Mark for the last couple of days.
Yeah, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
We've tried to unpack that story a couple times with people because it is weird out of context. It's your head in like a Western shirt or something.
If you've been listening to podcasts for a number of years, you know that reference,
Yeah.
the Buffalo reference. But yeah.
So, David, you are the David that we talk about every single episode, NTP Studios. Some people think that we are actually sitting in a studio when we say NTP Studios. They don't know that we're recording separately, so that's a little fast fact. But you are a proud sponsor of the K12 Tech Talk podcast, and we're a proud sponsor of your services and products and all that you do for the K12 TechPro community. So we're happy that you're here, and you're here at CoSN.
Here at CoSN up in Chicago. It's been a great show so far. We've really enjoyed it.
So let's unpack, because we probably do a bad job on the regular episodes. What is NTP?
We're a cybersecurity company. We developed our own MDR solution, and we sell SentinelOne, as everybody knows, and we've had a lot of success recently with our email solution. We run 24/7 security operations center. All of our analysts are in office, so they're not remote. They are in studio. And then we our price point is really geared toward K12. So we've done very well, especially sponsoring you guys and working with you guys has been really awesome. It's been good for our business, but it's been great for the community as well.
Yeah, Josh and I, our school districts, we are NTP customers, have had great success with NTP. And then we've talked to a lot of people that are NTP customers that have had great success with you. You appear to know K12 Tech pretty well.
And a lot of that comes from listening to the podcast, listening to you guys, and kind of doing the networking shows and everything with the team.
What's the unpack the email scanning stuff really quick?
So it's next gen. It's a next gen AI powered email security solution. So not only does it protect your emails, like anti-spam, like all that kind of stuff, but it'll even identify if somebody has stolen credentials and somebody's using those credentials, it'll identify that and block it. In addition, it does collaboration. So it'll protect all of your collaboration apps as well. So it's one of the best solutions that we have seen, and it's been one of the fastest moving solutions that we offer out of our SOC.
All right, Mark, we've had a great time here at CoSN 2026 in Chicago, Illinois. Or I have. How about you?
I've had a great time. Just came from your session. You did a wonderful session on cybersecurity, myth or facts. Talked about the different things we need to do as school districts, so lovely job.
Yeah, cool session. A clever hosted session.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even remember the title right now, but it was like Mythbusters.
Mm-hmm.
So there was like, I think 3 people on a panel. A sentence was presented. The audience got to vote. I thought this was very clever of clever.
Nice. Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. To hold up some signs and you pick myth or fact.
Yeah.
So mine dug into that we should care about what apps we vet, what websites our faculty staff use. We should care about all of that, whether it's a subscription-based thing, something we're paying for or not. We need to care about all of that now today.
Absolutely.
What else was unpacked on there? Cybersecurity was brought up, giving students more input or allowing them to explore more of the cybersecurity, their responsibilities with it was put in there as well.
The responsibilities of teachers and what we need to do to support teachers in this efforts so they can support us.
Yeah.
It's good. It was very good.
I'm trying to think of the couple of things that have really been repeated upon these last couple days. As far as what is coming next in K12 Tech, one of those is funding issues.
Yep.
And we that's a pretty regular topic on the podcast.
Yeah, every year.
We did talk to, and I can't think of who it was. So if you're listening at this part of the episodes, you're going to know who I'm talking about. But there was a gentleman that's been in K12 Tech for like 40 years, and he says it's about every 10 years that we really go off this cliff of funding. Yeah. And it was kind of an uplifting thing for me to hear that, because we're still going.
Yeah.
But then kind of disappointing to know, it's coming.
Yeah.
Here we go again. So funding issue is going to be a thing. We unpack screen time quite a bit.
I was going to say screen time is a very common theme.
And I think new to me over these days is this thought of paying attention to the quality of the screen time.
Yes.
That's something that we always have acknowledged, and maybe we're not saying it out loud enough. We're just caring about how much the kid is on the screen. I was telling Josh, I think, I don't want my lawmaker to define the quality of the content.
Yeah.
But it also gets me riled up that they're not riled up about the quality of the content. They just care about the 45 minutes or the whatever thing.
Yeah, and I think that's some of the comments we've heard this week and even just more in recent weeks is about active versus passive screen time, constructive, productive use of screen time. It's a big difference from the passive stuff that we're used to seeing or that we think that is happening more than it really is. And you know, we admit that there is a lot of kind of passive, unnecessary use of screen times that we need to address, but we want to differentiate between the two.
Mm-hmm. And I think K12 Techs are rallying that. We're going to start going back to our school districts, and we're going to help influence the quality of content being delivered to our students and our faculty and staff. What else, Mark? What else is coming up next? AI still a thing?
I heard about it. quantum computing. You were
heard
just
a little
talking
bit about
that.
quantum stuff. I know very little about it, but we've heard that word like 3-4 times.
Yeah.
I need to check into that a little bit more.
It's going to come into your high-tech high school classrooms first.
I can't remember Quantum Leap.
Same thing. It's cool. It's all the same thing. Yep. You're
So I feel
on the
like
right track there.
I didn't watch those episodes, but we're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay through that. And then, so I guess to kind of finish that out, it's what's next, and then we're gonna do this thing together. Has been a part of the theme.
Correct.
And that's what's gonna happen.
Sure.
We're gonna rally the K12 Techs all together. We're one big unit here at CoSN.
Yeah.
And we're gonna go back to our districts and make big changes across the board as much as we can.
Absolutely.
All right, it's been great hanging out here at CoSN 2026 here in Chicago, Illinois. Thanks for listening. Okay, I'm hanging out with Jeff from VIZOR. That's VIZOR with a Z, V-I-Z-O-R. And Jeff, that's Jeff with a J, J-E-F-F. Is that correct?
It is, 2 Fs. It's funny that you say that, Chris. That's kind of how I introduce myself. It's a little mechanism that I use to try and get people to remember the name. It's a common name, but I always say Jeff with 2 Fs, so it stands out a little bit.
It. I like it. Well, Jeff, we were just talking about Midwest Tech Talk. You're going to be at Midwest Tech Talk.
Fired up.
And you have been to Midwest Tech Talk in the past, so I know I'm seeing you in person now over this call, but we'll be excited to see VIZOR at Midwest Tech Talk as well in July.
Yeah, looking forward to that for sure. 10 years for you guys. It's a big one. So, yeah, we're super excited. Every year we get to go is an exciting time, and this year no different for sure. Looking forward to lunch and looking forward to themes and learning all about what's going on for this year. Fired up.
Awesome. And speaking of things coming up and things that are cool and new, so you're hanging out with me today because VIZOR came out with a new release, and I did want to unpack that with you for a few minutes. So can you summarize? I guess we'll take that half step back because not everybody knows VIZOR with a Z and Jeff with a J. What is VIZOR, and why should K12 Techs use it?
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, step back. So as you mentioned, lots of folks will be familiar with VIZOR already, but for those that aren't, and just a refresher for those that have heard the name, so a digital platform focusing on managing primarily student devices, so managing, and most of the student devices with the districts that we work with are Chromebooks, so a focus on managing Chromebooks, but other student devices as well, and so asset management and a help desk. So ultimately, we provide a significant level of automation, trying to remove as many manual steps as possible from the management process for student devices and other IT assets through automation. So things like automatically moving devices from one OU to another on checkout, automatically creating repair tickets for devices that are brought back in, automatically assigning those repair tickets, automating communication between stakeholders, so students and parents of students, as well as the technical team. So all sorts of automation, and then applying processes that are specific to the K-12 space into those into the management of the devices, adding the help desk, adding the help desk module, which we did last year, and then providing that centralized repository of all of that different information. So having that one single, I hate to say it in front of you, Chris, but that single pane of glass. But having that single repository through which you can see all of that information, bringing it together in one place, compiling it for you, and then presenting it back to you in whatever scope and format you need to see it, depending on your needs at that point in time.
Yeah, awesome.
Yep.
And we like the single pane of glass. We do. Okay, so
I heard it coming, and I thought, Chris is going to notice this.
You can't walk away from it.
No.
So there's some new stuff that came up with VIZOR. So I guess, would you unpack that with us?
Yeah. So one of the reasons that we're here kind of now is the new version. So this is a pretty big release. It's called Drummond. It's named after a street in Montreal, which is how we name all of our releases. So this one is Drummond. It is a pretty big release. So what we've done here, there's over 70 new features inside of the release. I won't go into all of those. That's something that folks can come and talk to us about in a demo. But really, what we're trying to do here with this release is a little bit, instead of we're trying to focus. The theme of this release is keeping focus. That's the idea here, is allowing technical team members and non-technical team stakeholders to remain focused within the workflow that they're used to and the work that they're doing without leaving that. So trying to simplify as much as we can through this release. So there's some really big components to the release. like I said, over 70 new features, but primarily based on customer feedback. So this is something that we've got a lot of over the last few years, of course. And so we really wanted to focus this particular release on how do we improve what it is that we're doing based on the feedback that we're getting from the clients that have been using VIZOR over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. And I think one of those is with check in, check out. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's always my favorite area within the VIZOR platform. So this is what's closest to my heart. The reason for that is that it's the interface through which most stakeholders interact with VIZOR. So non-technical staff members, technical staff members as well, and then something that you and I have chatted lots about before are student volunteers. So having those sort of stakeholders interact with VIZOR through the check-in, check-out is why it's kind of my favorite spot. And this particular release has done a ton with that specific area. So we've really sped up the process. We've reduced clicks. So it used to be scan a device, click OK, click confirm, scan the student's ID or type in their name, click OK again. So you're going through multiple clicks. Now we've sped up that process to the point of just scan the asset, scan the student, it's checked out, move on. Then you can do this. So on, a Monday morning when you've got 30 kids standing in front of you because of all the things that went on over the weekend with damaged devices or forgotten devices, you can get through this process super, super fast. So it's really, really reduced the number of clicks. This actually came feedback from one of our largest districts that we were working with, over 100,000 students, and for them, obviously, the speed is absolutely critical. And so a couple of seconds or 10, 15, 20 seconds per device adds up really, really fast when you're talking about numbers that big. So we really focused on that one a lot. So it's a lot of fun. It's kind of it was always my favorite area, and it's become even more fun to show and demonstrate to people.
Yeah, and I know when I've witnessed it, you can customize that for whatever school, like whatever your process procedure is. There's different customization options that are going to fit and work well.
Yeah. One of the cool things too with the check-in, check-out now is we have an activity log, which is pretty neat. So I know that speed comes with it kind of an inherent risk, and that's like you get into a bit of an autopilot mode, like just going through, and these kids are coming and going. But with the activity log, you get to watch what you're doing and see what you're doing. So the moment you try and check out, for example, a device that was reported lost or a device that's in repair, VIZOR is going to stop you. Hang on a sec. Are you sure you want to do this? So at that point, we've got those built-in safeguards so that you're not sort of on that autopilot situation and moving away from things that you shouldn't be moving away, or overlooking things that you shouldn't be overlooking. Another cool one there is the user card, the student card. So in the checkout, I get a little excited when I talk about stuff like this, but the check-in, check-out, that card for users, you're going to see all kinds of information. So getting to that customization that you were talking about, if it's important for you to see the insurance status of that particular user or that student, or maybe whether you've got kind of hoarder students, so students that got 3 or 4 devices, VIZOR is going to alarm you and notify you of that immediately on checkout. So you'll see that information. That student card carries throughout the product as well. So it's really, really cool to be able to quickly and easily see the repair history for that student, how many devices they have checked out to them, any fees that they have outstanding, if they have insurance, whether or not they've signed an acceptable user policy or acceptable use policy that you have. It's just, I love that part, that quick visibility, again, allowing techs and stakeholders to stay in the workflow, that they don't have to go to separate places to now find out, does the student already have a device checked out? Do they have insurance? Have they signed anything? Do they have any outstanding fees or fines that I need to be aware of? It's all right there in front of you now.
And then there's something about, and I don't know much about this, so tell me about this, like a global search that you can do with the Chrome extension, maybe too, or something like that?
Yeah, so 2 really cool features. The Chrome extension is new for us, so being able to bring up VIZOR right from through the Chrome extension, which is cool. That one's kind of a fun one to have. And then the global search, so this is everywhere. So if for use case here would be if you're a secretary or a teacher, media specialist, librarian, or even a tech rep, you can just quickly, let's say a student comes to you and says, I lost my device, and they don't want to use the student portal or the self-service portal or whatever the case is. You can just type in that student's name right into that global quick search, and you'll see
Gotcha.
all the information you need to about that student. Same thing for a device. If a device comes to you, again, teachers, you don't want them going into the Google Admin Console trying to figure out who's got what, or even the student information system to sort of see information or details related and then having to go to another system. It's all right there. And so if, for example, a Chromebook hits your desk, Chris, and you don't know anything about it, they all look pretty much the same, you can simply scan that into the global search and it'll bring up that exact record of that device without having to leave the interface that you're in, and it'll just tell you everything you need to know about it. This is a checked out device. It's assigned to this student at this school, and there it is. You'll be able to get it back to them.
Yeah, I always love that VIZOR. I mean, so at our school, we have our libraries that are pretty involved with the check-in, check-out process. And I say pretty involved, they're the ones doing it. I would say tech department, we're secondary to that. So there's always that great debate on, man, I would like for those people to have view into Google Admin Console, but I can't give them Google Admin Console access, so VIZOR fixes that part of that problem for us.
Yeah, bringing non-tech staff members into the kind of workflow and the management process without them having to know that they're doing that. You certainly, as you mentioned, are not going to give them the keys to the kingdom, as it were, with the Google Admin Console. So this is a really safe way to be able to kind of facilitate their participation with at a very, very minimal cost in terms of learning curve and access to different things that they shouldn't be having access to.
Yep, cool. Okay, something about a reboot feature as well. Would you touch on that?
Yeah, well, actually, so that's a great example of what we were just talking about. So having the ability to, say, for example, a teacher wants to troubleshoot something, so don't send the student down the hallway to the technical representative office and hope that they're there and they've got some time for you. The teacher can just execute a reboot right there. So essentially, this is an example of access to the Google Admin Console, or a feature that you would not normally associate with a non-technical staff member that they now have access to. So they can reboot remotely from the from VIZOR, simply just scan that device again in the global search, bring it up the device, and just reboot right from there. This extends the kind of already existing integrations with the Google Admin Console for things like OU movement that we talked about before, power washing, remote disabling devices. That's another great one. So in terms of managing the loaner process, if a student doesn't bring their device back on time, VIZOR can be set to automatically and remotely disable the device, to brick it so that it's useless until the student brings it back. So we've extended all of that sort of integration to the reboot, which I think is I know it sounds like an obvious one, but it's one that we're introducing in this release. So I'm really glad to say that that's there.
Yeah, I mean, that goes back to what you just said. So a lot of times, like at our high school, we have that student-led program. So a lot of times kids are going all the way to the library, making that trip, leaving the classroom, just for our student technician to reboot the thing, and it gets better. Or sometimes that gets missed, and then that thing makes its way to the tech department, and then all we really did was reboot it. So again, if we can help that workflow to be better, and let other people do that stuff that the kid's not going to remember to do,
right?
That makes tons of sense.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, like I said, the theme there, keeping focus, right? So the student gets to keep focus on being a student. The teacher in this case can keep focus on being a teacher. So I really like that component. You and I have talked about this before, but just the idea of being able to facilitate technologists being able to focus on delivering technology and not worrying about, like, rebooting a device is really not something that anybody should need to be worrying about, right? And so if we can automate those things, or at least make it as easy as possible for people to do it very quickly, then we're accomplishing the goal. Teachers get to teach, students get to learn, technologists get to deliver technology. So that's what we're all about. That's the mandate here. So that's what we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, going back to the clicks with check and check out, I've read those stats before about, what's the average that a human sleeps over the course of their life or whatever. If you're into technology, I would love to see the time that we spend on just clicking.
That's funny.
So if VIZOR is making steps towards saving us time on how much we click, I'm for it.
I love it.
And the bigger picture, if VIZOR can help a student stay in the classroom and learn, and that disruption is less, we don't think about stuff like that when we just quick talk about, inventory.
Yeah.
But that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to we're trying to help the classroom. We're trying to help the teacher teach. We're trying to help the student learn.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is there anything else we're missing here, Jeff, with these new features?
There's a couple of really cool integrations that we've got. So some new ones to go along with all of the integrations that we had up till now. So the kind of the Google Admin Console ones, the student information system integrations, but financial integrations. But One Roster and My Schoolbooks are kind of the two new ones for this release. I feel like those are really interesting ones. We also have, I'm sure, Chris, you guys have talked about this before, the trend towards kind of back away from one-to-one at home. So a lot more districts kind of moving back into classrooms. So we've got, and using carts again, a little bit more. That's kind of a bit of a trend that we're seeing. So we've got some cart management workflows that we got going on there. There's another new one. I don't know how big this one or if it resonates, but I'd be interested actually in your thoughts on it. So we have now a location assignment. So if you, for example, if a device is logged into in the, let's say, the library IP range, then VIZOR can change the status of that device, so the location of that device to the library. So that kind of thing. So if these are devices that you're tracking by location because they're not going home with students, for example, then when it's logged into a different IP range, VIZOR can update the location of that device based on that IP range. So that's a pretty cool one, I think. I just don't know. Like, that one's been tested, and that was sort of feedback from specific clients. But I honestly am interested in on kind of field testing that one and finding out people's sort of resonance there.
Yeah, we use Aruba access points. So they've had a product called Airwave that will let us try to track a Chromebook down, where you're like, that Chromebook was last seen at or near room 202. Which is a similar vibe to what you're doing. And even, so Lightspeed Content Filter, they have a Signal product that does some similar tracking. So again, this bigger picture that we're talking about, well, you're single pane of glass. If I can stick in VIZOR that can help me do those troubleshooting steps, or if I can give those two things I just mentioned, those are tech tools that gets filtered all the way up to us, that the tech department is involved with that. So if I can give that power to the librarian, that's going to save some steps and save some time again.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, I know that listeners can reach out to VIZOR at vizor.cloud/K12TechTalk. They can request a demo. I think if they do a demo, they get some free swag, some K12 Tech Talk swag. So, if you're listening to this, Jeff's the real deal. VIZOR's a great product. Check out vizor.cloud/K12TechTalk. Jeff, always nice to talk to you and catch up every once in a while.
Yeah, you as well, Chris. And I'll just mention as well, on top of the swag, which is awesome, those hoodies are really, really cool. I do like those a lot. But on top of that, we've got some discounts available for your listeners. So this isn't something that you should pass on. It's something that we've actually pulled the trigger on lots through K12 Tech Talk. So lots of different folks have been able to benefit from the discounts that we have associated with K12 Tech Talk. So please reach out, let us know.
Awesome.
VIZOR.cloud/K12 Tech Talk, and we'll talk about implementation timeframes. Absolutely, I'd be more than happy to tell everybody about what's new in Drummond, what exists already in VIZOR, but also timelines in terms of implementation. We were talking off the top there about where we are in the school year, and so this is a really good time for us to be kind of getting out ahead of that rush that's coming in the spring and summer.
Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
My pleasure. Thank you, Chris.
We might not be the same. You share the same pain that I do.
The views and opinions expressed on the K12 Tech Talk podcast are the personal opinions of Josh, Chris, and Mark, and do not represent the views or opinions of our sponsors or other organizations that we're affiliated with. The material and information presented here is for general information and entertainment purposes only. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
We were buying words about the phrase of the way and selling songs.